As the 2000 to 2001 season began, one of the biggest talking points surrounded the indiscipline of Arsenal midfielder Patrick Vieira. The France international received a red card in Arsenal's 1-0 loss at Sunderland after deliberately catching Darren Williams in the face with his arm. 2 days later, he committed 2 bookable offences in Arsenal's 2-0 win over Liverpool. Gary McAllister and Dietmar Hamann were also given their marching orders in a feisty Monday night game at Highbury. Vieira soon silenced his critics, scoring twice in Arsenal's 5-3 thriller with Charlton Athletic before beginning a 5-match suspension. In the summer, Peter Taylor became Leicester City's new manager after Martin O'Neill departed for Celtic, while Bradford City appointed Chris Hutchings following Paul Jewell's switch to Sheffield Wednesday. The most notable managerial change took place 5 games into the season when Claudio Ranieri replaced Gianluca Vialli at Chelsea. Ken Bates, Chelsea's polarising owner, made the controversial decision after a run of 1 win in 5 games. Ken Bates does not know the meaning of gratitude. Former Chelsea striker Pierluigi Casiraghi was quoted as saying by the BBC, "He is arrogant and has made a mistake." At the start of October, Peter Taylor's unbeaten Leicester surprisingly topped the table. Usual title suspects Manchester United and Arsenal occupied 2nd and 3rd respectively, while newly promoted Charlton and Ipswich had strong starts. In the bottom half, Chelsea sat in 12th place under new boss Claudio Ranieri. Promoted Manchester City hovered above the relegation zone, and bottom-of-the-table Derby County searched for their first win. In one of the season's standout moments, Thierry Henry flicked the ball up on the edge of the area before beating Fabien Barthez with a sublime volley in Arsenal's 1-0 win over Manchester United. Sir Alex Ferguson's side quickly recovered, winning 8 consecutive league games between October and December, including a 5-0 victory over Southampton, which featured a Teddy Sheringham hat-trick. Emile Heskey also netted a hat-trick as Liverpool beat Derby 4-0 to emerge as possible title contenders, while new Chelsea signing Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank scored 4 goals in a 6-1 win over Coventry City. Struggling for form, Leeds United hosted Liverpool in November, looking for just their 5th league win of the season. Sami Hyypiä put Liverpool ahead before Christian Ziege added another after 18 minutes. Mark Viduka, Leeds' new £6 million signing from Celtic, pulled a goal back in the 24th minute before equalising 2 minutes into the second half. Vladimir Smica made the score 3-2 in the 61st minute before Viduka single-handedly turned the game around. The Australian striker netted another equaliser in the 73rd minute, followed by a winner in the 75th minute, as David O'Leary's side claimed all 3 points in an exhilarating game. Halfway through the season, there was no stopping Manchester United. The Red Devils were already 8 points clear by Christmas, with Arsenal and surprise package Leicester their closest challengers. Ipswich exceeded expectations in 5th, while 9th place Chelsea was still adjusting to a new regime under Claudio Ranieri. In the relegation battle, Jim Jeffries replaced Chris Hutchings as Bradford manager, while Middlesbrough brought in former England boss Terry Venables to help out Brian Robson as a co-manager. Further up the table, Leeds progressed in the Champions League, but found themselves in 12th place in the Premier League. On Boxing Day, Sunderland's main man Kevin Phillips scored a hat-trick as the Black Cats beat struggling Bradford 4-1 at Valley Parade. A 6-game unbeaten run moved Peter Reid's men up to 2nd in the table, but any outside chance of a title charge ended with a 1-0 loss at home to Manchester United. Once again, Sir Alex Ferguson's men looked like they were running away with the title. Beaten 1-0 at Arsenal in October, they got revenge on Arsene Wenger's side with a sensational 6-1 triumph over their rivals in February. Dwight Yorke scored 3 of the goals as Manchester United moved 16 points clear at the top with 10 games to go. In mid-table, Tottenham sacked George Graham after an underwhelming run of results, including 4 goalless draws in a row. Spurs appointed club legend Glenn Hoddle as Graham's replacement, temporarily leaving Southampton without a manager. Stuart Gray, the club's first-team coach, took charge at the Dell until the end of the season. Towards the end of March, Manchester United still held their 16-point lead over Arsenal, and Ipswich and Sunderland maintained their impressive form to challenge for a top-3 Champions League qualification finish. Elsewhere, Leeds' run to the Champions League semi-finals coincided with an upturn in league fortunes, with a 13-game unbeaten run propelling David O'Leary's men up to 5th. With 2 months of the season to go, Coventry and Bradford looked doomed. Manchester City were also on course for a swift Division 1 return after a run of 1 win in 13 games. On April 14th, late goals from Ryan Giggs and Paul Scholes wrapped up a 4-2 win for Manchester United against Coventry at Old Trafford. On the same day, Arsenal's title challenge officially ended with a thumping 3-0 defeat at home against Middlesbrough. As a result, Sir Alex Ferguson's men were crowned champions for the 3rd year in a row and for the 7th time in the 9-year history of the Premier League. While the 2000 to 2001 title race contained next to no drama, it was a similar story in the relegation fight. Bradford's 2-year Premier League stay ended after a 2-1 defeat at Everton, while Coventry were relegated following a 3-2 loss at Aston Villa. 2 days later, Sean Goater's opener at Portman Road was quickly cancelled out as Ipswich beat Manchester City 2-1 to send Joe Royle's side back to the First Division. Derby were briefly sucked back into relegation trouble after 5 losses in 6 games, but a 1-0 win over champions Manchester United confirmed their safety. With the title and relegation places decided, one of the final day's top stories revolved around Southampton playing their last match at the Dell before moving to St Mary's Stadium. Matt Le Tissier, Southampton's talisman during the first decade of the Premier League, replaced Gary Monk in the 75th minute as Saints searched for a late winner against Arsenal. With the score tied at 2-2, who else but Le Tissier popped up with an 89th minute goal as Southampton bid a fitting farewell to the Dell with a 3-2 win over the Gunners. Elsewhere on the final day, Liverpool qualified for the Champions League ahead of Leeds and Ipswich after beating Charlton 4-0 at the Valley. Gerard Houlier's men enjoyed an incredible second half to the season, beginning with a Worthington Cup penalty shootout win after a 1-1 draw with Birmingham City in the final. The Reds also won the FA Cup thanks to a Michael Owen-inspired 2-1 comeback victory over Arsenal. Not satisfied with 2 trophies, Liverpool added a 3rd to their collection with an astonishing 5-4 golden goal win over Alaves after extra time in the UEFA Cup final. The final 2000 to 2001 Premier League table confirmed Manchester City, Coventry and Bradford's relegation to the First Division. Leicester plummeted to 13th place after a promising start to the season, while Terry Venable's expertise helped Middlesbrough move away from the drop zone. In the top half, Leeds, Ipswich and Chelsea qualified for the UEFA Cup, Arsenal and Liverpool qualified for the Champions League, and Manchester United, despite losing their last 3 league games, eased to another title, finishing 10 points clear of their nearest challengers Arsenal. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more classic football stories. You can also visit deefaxfootball.com for a range of retro gifts, including a 500-question Premier League quiz book and more than 60 nostalgic football canvases. Alternatively, click the link on screen to take another trip down football memory lane.